show. Here with Brady Mashed Potato Wells today.
Hello. I'm not special this time.
Brady, you know why today's a good day? You know, they probably heard you say this already.
I know. Okay, to be fair, this whole month is a sports loaded month.
It is.
Football, baseball, hockey, obviously starting
Mm,
today. That's what you were
baseball.
talking about.
Yeah.
And the
Hockey's back.
NBA,
That's big.
the NBA starts as well. Not that we care that much about it, but
I like the NBA. Me and Brennan are kind of trying to get into the NBA scene this year, but that starts at the end of the month. But we're here to talk about fantasy football. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter at MadmenFF, on YouTube FFMadmen. Like and subscribe those videos, and then like our page on Facebook, Fantasy Football Madmen. It's all going to be that. And then if you guys ever miss a show, all the podcasts, all the audios from this show will be uploaded to Spotify the day of, if not the day after we shoot the show, obviously. Um, Again, I messed up the audio, so we're going to go through this part again. We are planning on doing a giveaway soon. We haven't decided what we're giving away, and that
yeah.
the giveaway will be announced on Twitter and Facebook, and ways you
Ways
guys
to
can win.
win.
So that'll be coming up in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. Today we got matchups and starts instead of the week, like we usually do on Wednesdays. But let's just jump right into it since I messed up the audio. And just get right into the news. Let's talk about the Monday night game.
Yay.
Pittsburgh's offense looked
Better.
strange.
It looked better. They did all this Wildcat stuff with Jalen Samuels, which was cool. Like it was fun to watch.
It reminded
To
me of
be
a
honest.
college offense.
Yeah, I don't know how sold they are on Rudolph. That's kind of the scary
I
part
just don't
of
think
it
they
all.
really trust him to throw the ball down the field.
Which is I feel like that's why you drafted him because that's all he did
He did it really well at Oklahoma State.
in college, and then in the preseason they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, just throw it deep. It's like all right, and they had a good preseason with Rudolph. I don't know, they just don't. To be fair, they just needed to not beat themselves against the Bengals, and they would have won. So that might be part of it.
Yeah, they could have game planned as long as we take care of the ball, and
Yeah,
we won't lose. That's
it
pretty much it.
definitely could have been a big part, but it wasn't odd to see an NFL offense do that much.
Yeah, it was weird. I was playing against Chris, who has Jalen Samuels. Luckily, he was on his bench, but he had
Oh, really?
three. Yeah, he had 3 completions.
Yeah.
The
Well,
guy threw the
pitch
ball, ran the ball, and caught the ball.
for over 25 yards in each one.
Yeah, like okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
Granted, the completions were those little tap passes,
They'll get the
but
points.
you still get the points for them, so that's good. On the Bengals end, primetime Andy Dalton looked like primetime Andy Dalton, which
And
is bad.
and their offensive line was.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, Andy Dalton actually didn't look. I don't think he looked that bad because there wasn't a chance for him to look bad because he was just getting sacked.
Yeah, well, he
The
couldn't
whole.
find 83 on the field at all.
No,
I mean, you were
I
both
know.
sad about that. That lost me my week.
Yeah, I needed I needed Boyd to score and the Pittsburgh's defense to not do that well, and neither of them happened. So
That's what happens when you play the Bengals.
yep.
But that was pretty much the Monday night game. Nothing really notable on the Bengals, and they ended up scoring like 3 points.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy
Can't
offensively.
block, you don't win, and we talked about that last show.
James Conner had a really good game.
Yeah, he had his bounce back game.
Yeah,
And this
he
is
looked
a
good.
sell high opportunity.
I don't know. You might be able to. I mean, if
I
this is the way they're going to go,
yeah,
I think
but
you hold on to him.
I'd sell high. Honest to me.
Oh
'Cause
yeah, I mean you're not selling low. You're not selling
well,
anywhere.
you sell him like an RB1
Yeah,
because he had the numbers. Because I
yeah,
don't think, personally, I don't think he's a running back one at the rest of the season.
yeah,
If you can sell him like a running back one, you should get the value for him.
yeah. All right, on to actual news coming from Wednesday practices. Terry McLaurin returned to practice, which is good news. I think the whole hamstring was pretty minor, but they were being precautionary because he's their best player.
Yeah, and he's young. No
and he's
reason to
young.
rush him back.
Yeah, especially with a 0-3 now 0-4.
About to
Redskins
be 0
team
and 5.
will be. I'm going to say it right now. Will be 0-5.
Yeah.
Sorry if you guys
I
hear Murphy in the background. He's being talkative as normal. But yeah, the Redskins need to get their stuff together.
yeah, that might
T.Y.
be
Hilton also didn't practice, which is kind of concerning. Um, I was hoping he'd be playing.
yeah, it's just Wednesday, but
Keep
you
your
have
eye
to
on
just
that
keep
one.
you have to
Keep your
watch that one.
keep your eye on that one. If Ty is playing, obviously I'd start him.
You play him against the Chiefs. Yeah.
I think it's a lot like the Terry McLaurin. They're gonna
They're gonna
take it
take their
easy,
time.
with T.Y. Hilton, and if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. Someone that's not going to be playing on Sunday is Christian Kirk. Last week, I mentioned on Monday's show he hurt his ankle. Doesn't look serious, but they are going to hold him out for Sunday's game against Cincinnati. Um,
Good.
One of the updates that came out for this was that Andy Isabella is finally going to get an opportunity to actually play wide receiver, not just in return. But he's not in a normal position that we thought
No,
we would see him, Brady.
no, he's playing on the outside. He's not in the slot like he has been forever.
Yeah, Andy Isabella is
So
all of like 5 foot nothing.
yeah,
So it's kind of odd to see him on the outside. Um,
but
but I
Bird's
get it.
hurt too, right?
Bird's out.
Bird and
Uh,
Kirk.
yeah,
So I
and
mean, I understand why.
I think
It's
Keyshawn has an injury as well.
my goodness. I
So
mean,
Trent Sherfield could get some snaps, but none of those guys, I think even Isabella, are fantasy relevant this week. Even going up
no,
against Cincinnati, I think
it'll just it'll just be nice to see Isabella playing.
it would. It's a good opportunity for him to show what he's capable of, and he's really good.
It's not. It's nice that it sounds like Kirk's thing is only 1 week too, because
Yeah,
we thought it could have been
I
a
thought it
little
was his
longer.
ACL, man. When I
Yeah,
saw it, I was like, oh,
it looked like it could have been worse. So this is
mm-hmm.
good news.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Someone that's going to be missing some time is going to be John Ross, who got placed on the IR today due to a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
This looks
Yeah.
good for me and you, fantasy
Yeah.
wise, because we both have Tyler Boyd in separate leagues, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Both Tylers.
yeah, I think this means more for Auden Tate, though.
Yeah, it should.
I mean, he's been getting double-digit targets multiple weeks now.
Well, he has 16 in 2 games. So it was 10 week 3, 6 last week.
Well, like we said, we couldn't keep they couldn't keep Andy Dalton from getting sacked. So I'm not
Yeah,
surprised
and
maybe
they're
his target's
playing.
only 6.
Yeah, but he's a big guy, 6'5".
He's a big
This is a.
dude. I
And
mean,
he looks good.
he's built like a tight end. So maybe if they see him on the field, they're like, oh, that guy's a tight end, and they won't cover him because
Maybe
Arizona
they're
does not
playing the
cover their tight
Cardinals.
ends.
Yeah.
Um,
What's nice is this isn't one of those injuries that happen and you just pick the next guy up and you hope he plays well. This is the next guy up. You've seen him play, and he has performed relatively well. They trust him because he's in 90% of the snaps through the 2 games he's played as well too. So
yeah, and
Auden Tate's definitely should have been picked up.
yeah,
Hopefully,
if he's available in your league, I think he should be picked up. Funny note, Brady, in our Funhouse league, my aunt actually picked up Auden Tate.
I saw that.
I didn't even tell her to do it.
Yeah,
I was
probably
gonna go
watching
do it,
Twitter.
and then it happened.
Probably watching the Twitter.
Yeah, we get updates on Twitter on injuries and fantasy news, so make sure you're following that.
Yes, sir.
In other good news, Tyreek Hill and Damien Williams both were full participants in practice today.
Was Tyreek full?
Yeah,
I put that note. He was. I put
I
that
think
note for
so. I'm almost positive.
Damien was full.
Damien was full. I'm almost positive Tyreek Hill
I am too, but I'm gonna check.
was. We'll double check that real quick. Anyway, he did practice in some capacity, and it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't limited, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was full or not.
He was Tyreek was limited.
He was limited. Okay, he was
Damien
limited,
was full.
which is still good to see. After that
Yes.
very scary shoulder injury, actually turned into scary
I
shoulder
know,
injury.
right? That was
It
crazy.
didn't
He had to go to
look
the
as bad.
hospital.
Yeah, you don't normally see that, especially when it comes to a shoulder. Normally they can just fix it there, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
there was like whole nerve damage. But LaShawn McCoy was also limited today in practice. Brady, I don't
What
know if you
happened
saw,
to an
but I
old guy?
traded him in redraft today.
Yeah, he did.
I
I actually
traded
like that trade.
LaShawn McCoy and Tyler Lockett. Sorry, Karen, for
I
Odell
liked that
Beckham
trade.
Jr. Well, I have
I like
Baker
that both
Mayfield,
sides.
so I was like, I have the
Hoping for
stack.
the stack that doesn't exist.
Well, I'm hoping at some point it does, and I also have Tyreek Hill on my bench who's been injured. So when I have those two
Yeah.
back, watch out. On to some bad
Kicker
news,
news.
kicker
Oh,
news. If you guys have kickers in your league, that's fine.
rem-
We
what?
don't play with kickers, but we have our reasons not to. Um,
Hey, kickers.
Steven Goskowski, who's really not been good this year.
Well, probably for the injury. From the injury.
Yeah, he's been placed on season-ending IR, so he's done for the year. Yeah, he's missed multiple extra points, multiple field goals, and I'm surprised it took them 4 weeks to figure this out. Like we've been
Yeah,
playing
it's just
football for a
kind of
month.
odd because it's clearly been bothering him,
Hmm.
and he's getting season-ending surgery. So he's getting
What is
surgery.
the injury? Like, what's the?
I missed what it was. It's his hip, which
Oh well,
is
that's a pretty big deal when it comes to kickers. Either
yeah,
one, plant leg or swing leg,
yeah,
either
yeah.
one.
But they said he'll be ready for the next season. But yeah, he's done the season.
Yeah. So if you guys have kickers, look out for whoever New England signs as a kicker. I don't know if they've announced who they signed. Um,
Cody Parkey,
I was thinking the same thing.
and I'm
That's
sure he's
insane.
working out. They had one workout today, and they're having more workouts tomorrow. We'll see.
Well, kicker's a very stressful position now.
Oh,
You
it's
you
awful.
you miss an extra point, you might not have a job next week.
I know.
But that's just football. Other injury news: Case Keenum was seen in a walking boot today. Um, so it's likely Dwayne Haskins is going to get the start against Minnesota or against New England. Um,
I don't think it matters who plays.
I agree, but I saw this question on ESPN today actually, and I thought it was a very interesting topic. Are the Redskins like lining Dwayne Haskins up for failure by playing him this early?
Well, from what it seems like, yeah, because I think they've come out and said he wasn't ready to play yet
Yes, exactly.
before
Yeah.
before last week, and it was like, okay, that's fine. If some guy's not ready to play, he's not ready to play, especially at that position.
Mm-hmm.
Like Patrick Mahomes said his whole first year,
And now look at
and
him.
yeah, exactly.
His
Like,
sophomore year, he threw 50 touchdowns and won the MVP.
yeah,
Not saying Haskins would do that, but
if there's a plan, stick to the plan.
yeah.
And it doesn't seem like he's ready now. Someone's hurt, and like if somebody's hurt and he has to go out there, that's different than him not being ready
Mm-hmm.
and getting thrown in there. Maybe Colt McCoy comes back and starts, but yeah, I don't think Haskins should be starting yet,
I don't think he
in
should
my
either.
opinion.
Should either. I have him on my dynasty roster, and I really don't want this. Really don't want to see him playing.
No,
But the bad
for
thing for the
his sake.
Redskins is, yeah, for Haskins' career's sake, I think
Yeah.
it would be um, not good. But they have 4 quarterbacks on their roster, and 3 of them have leg injuries.
Oh
Um,
Lord,
I would much rather see McCoy play in this game.
I would too.
It's like they're feeding Haskins to the wolves. Is what and
Yeah,
it's not going to
not
be a
good.
good game. I'm skeptical starting McLaurin.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get into matchups a little bit later. Some good news, some more returning players. Sam Darnold was limited in practice today. Um, I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to play this week. I I really doubt that he plays.
I don't think he does, but I also think this team is 0-3, and if he can start, they might want him to.
But if they're 0-3 going up against the Eagles this week, are they really gonna?
Well, there's only one way to beat the Eagles, and it's throwing the football.
That's true. That's true. We'll see. Keep an eye on Sam Darnold. If you guys have on Sam Darnold,
It's not for Sam Darnold, it's more for the offense,
yeah,
probably.
minus Le'Veon Bell, and
Yeah.
anyone can get the ball to Le'Veon Bell. We saw that week 2.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get into matchups, make sure you guys are leaving questions in the chat for us, or you can, send them to our Twitter. You can leave them on Facebook, either one, and we will answer those during the show. So if you guys have questions, leave those there. So teams on bye this week: Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins. So Brendan can't use the excuse they're playing the Dolphins that he always uses. Um, that won't be an issue this week. There's actually quite a few big defensive matchups
Yeah.
which I find pretty interesting. And all
There are a
the
lot this week.
there are, and there's a lot of like games that are Like, there's not a lot of blowout games this week.
No, well, there's no like
There's
one
three.
team's heavily favored.
There's 3 games that are like the
Above
spread's
10?
pretty high. They're above 10.
Yeah, I see it.
Um, and I don't even think the Colts Chiefs should be at 10.
We'll see.
I feel like that
That,
could
that
be a good one.
yeah, I like that game.
I feel like that's a very high spread though. But we'll start with tomorrow's matchup. Rams go into Seattle to take on the Seahawks. This is gonna be an interesting one, Brady. I want you to talk about the Rams because I want to talk about the Seahawks in this one. So
Ugh! Well, okay. So the Rams are always going to put fantasy wise. They're going to have points available all the time. Like Goff started the game bad, but they came back like I mean they still scored 40, right? Like
yeah,
you're scoring 40, that's really good. And not only like they scored 40 in everybody. Goff, Gurley, Woods, Cooks, and Cup. I don't remember Cooks, but I know Cup and Woods all had
Cooks
good games.
Cooks didn't score, but he still had a good game.
And I think
Woods didn't score either, but he was a
yeah, and
reception monster.
they're a good fantasy team, but this is a tough matchup in Seattle. So I don't I don't think there's any reason like all the guys I named, there's no reason not to start any of them. But I wouldn't expect like big weeks. I mean, they're going to take a step back from last week. I also don't think they're going to be down like that anymore. I'm sure that's going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, I think their defense is going to have a bounce back game.
And Goff throwing over 60 times is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'd rather
that's not going to happen in this one.
let's run the ball with Gurley, hopefully, and move the ball down the field a little bit, not get absolutely blown out in the first quarter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reason why I think Goff isn't going to be able to throw the ball 60 times or even 50 times, he might get to 40, and that's because I think the Seahawks are really going to control the clock. They're known for
Yes, sir.
running the football and running it well. Last week they played Arizona, so Carson having the same game, getting over 20 plus touches. Um, Unlikely to happen because I believe Penny uh, has been already been said that he will return in this game.
Yeah,
Um,
he's back.
so they're going to have to look for more ways to move the football. And I think stretching the field against I mean, if you guys watched the Bucks Rams game last week, that secondary looked vulnerable. And there's one guy
Mm-hmm.
specifically on the Seahawks that can stretch the field better than almost anyone in the NFL, and that's Tyler Lockett. He only had 4 receptions in the game against Arizona, but they also ran the ball down their throat. Um,
Yeah, and you have to run versus the Rams because pass, their pass rush is really good.
their pass rush is good, but Wilson's also very mobile. So um, Carson's probably going to have around 15 to 20 total touches, I think. Probably a couple catches. And I the starters for me, like obvious starters, are Wilson, Carson, and Lockett. Those are the guys you start right now.
Yeah,
What about Disley? I mean, Disley had
yeah.
a big week last week, but against he played Arizona. What do you think, Brady?
This is a locked-in tight end starter for me. I think every week he has an opportunity to be a tight end one, and that's really all you're looking for. I think he's sticking right around 5 catches, 50 yards,
Well,
and
back to back games with touchdowns.
yeah, and then you add a score on top of that, and then you're really happy. But even like he's one of those guys. If he doesn't score, he's still going to put up probably about 10 points, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what he's been doing. Like if you take away the touchdowns, he's still been doing that. So he's a every week starter for me until something changes, and I don't see it changing.
I don't see it changing either. All right, Jets in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Brady, who you winning this game?
The Eagles.
Okay, yeah,
My
I figured it was
start of the
obvious.
week's in this game.
Your start of the week is in this game,
Mm-hmm.
and it's for the Jets. All right.
and it's not Le'Veon Bell, who you should
Well,
still be starting.
he's a must start every week unless he's hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe even if he's hurt.
Well, yeah, right. I'm actually gonna say start of the week is Robbie Anderson, who before we started a lot of this, Robbie was like I was really, really, really excited for Robbie Anderson, and then they had a lot of he was hurt week 1, and then Sam Darnold was sick with mono, and then they had a bye week 4, and it was just he hasn't done anything yet. But like I said, the only way to beat the Eagles is through the air because they have bottled up some of the best. They bottled up Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones amongst. I forget who they played the other weeks, but they've done incredible against the run. They're going to be behind, especially if Darnold plays. I think Robbie Anderson has a great game, and I think this is his breakout week, and like Jet propels him into at least a wide receiver 2 for the rest of the year. That's my opinion. I really hope this pulls through because I'm really this is it's calling my shot here. I'm sticking to my guns.
If I'm not mistaken, Robbie Anderson was also your hot take going into the year.
Yes, I've got. I was really excited about him, and I've just been so disappointed so far.
Yeah, you have Robbie Anderson finishing the season as a top 12 wide receiver. That was your hot take this year.
Yes,
And this is the game to see it.
it's tough to be top 12 anymore because of the first 4 weeks, but he also doesn't have a bye anymore, which is
I don't know.
nice.
I think my hot take is probably going to be the most accurate one this year.
What was yours?
Antonio Brown finishes the season 20th ranked
Oh,
or worse for the season.
I forgot.
He's currently in college.
Yeah, but more on the Jets. You're starting Bell still, even though it's a tougher matchup, and it's gonna be a tougher matchup. But he's gonna get work in the passing game, and I think that's where he's gonna hopefully gash this Eagles defense.
Yeah. I'd love to see a big game from Bell in this one.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see a big one from Robbie.
Well, of course, he's your star of the week. On the Eagles, Carson Wentz has been a top 10 quarterback all 4 games so far, which I thought was a crazy stat because Carson Wentz always goes pretty under the radar when it comes to fantasy. He's not known as that fantasy quarterback, but he's been top 10 in all four
Yeah.
weeks so far.
With
Um,
injuries too.
with injuries, yeah, he said like he had no Jeffries against um, Atlanta. It was the Atlanta game. He didn't have Jeffries.
That's
He
when he
has
got
no
hurt.
Deshaun Jackson after week 1. Um,
Yeah, I
I
know.
think that Atlanta game was week 2, right? It
Yeah,
was week 2.
and then they didn't have Alshon versus the Lions as well.
That's right, they didn't. But Jeffrey's back. He's going to get volume. I know I said that he's a dumpster, and he still is, but he gets volume. And if he's on your team, probably should be starting him
Hmm.
for sure. I want to see more of this Eagles running game, though. They played so well against the Packers, who were supposed to be a really good defense so far this year. But the question is who's going to be running the ball? Is it going to be Miles Sanders or is it going to be Jordan Howard? Jordan Howard seems to be more of the red zone back guy that's going to pound it into the end zone.
Yeah. Well,
Sanders, I haven't really seen what he's been doing. There's nothing crazy to note of.
well, Sanders is supposed to he can catch the ball. He's supposed to be the receiving back. Sproles is starting to be less and less of a factor, and I think we're starting to see more and more of Jordan Howard or Miles Sanders. Thing
Yeah,
is, if if Jordan Howard really starts to, because uh, Sanders' snap percentage is going down, and Howard's is going up. So if we see if Howard continues to get the ball throughout the middle of the field, he had 53% last game,
mm-hmm.
and that might have been hot hand kind of a thing because obviously he was running really well. But if he continues to get the ball throughout the middle of the field, I think you're going to see a pretty solid RB3, RB2, almost RB2 just because of the goal line touches as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Darren Sproles, his snap percentage last week against Green Bay was at 11%. So
Yeah,
it's definitely coming in between those two guys.
yeah.
So out of those two, who would you rather start?
This week,
Yeah,
Howard.
yeah,
Probably going forward, I'd still stick with Howard
yeah.
because
I'm gonna stick with Howard as well.
just for the goal line touches,
Yep.
I want those
Um,
6 points.
Another Eagle that's kind of gotten off to a weird start is that Zach Ertz. He hasn't caught a touchdown this year. Is this the game that Ertz comes back to being
I
Zach
don't,
Ertz and scoring a touchdown?
I don't know. It's it looks like in the red zone. When I was watching the game, it was like he was the decoy, and he would run a route and then
It's a big
got it.
decoy. The guy's 6'5", 250.
I know, but you watch the routes he runs, and he's drawing coverage, and then somebody else is open, and I'm sure they're gonna try to get him the ball, but that keeps working. It was working. And Goddard scored, I know, and he's a really talented tight end as well.
Yeah, when he got drafted, what was it, 2 years ago? I wanted Dallas to pick him up, the Cowboys, but he got picked the pick before Dallas had the option to. I
Oh,
think I
really?
think they would have picked him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like a good option, but I'm not starting Goddard.
No, you're never going to
You're
start Goddard.
obviously
And
starting Ertz.
Ertz is sitting at above 5 catches every
Yeah,
week, over
Ertz is
50
currently tight end
yards.
8 on the year.
Yeah, you're happy with Ertz. You're
Yeah,
just not
you're not seeing the
seeing
touchdowns.
touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, Jaguars go to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Brady, I think me and you have a lot of the same takes on this one.
This
Fournette's
is
volume.
Yeah, but I mean, this whole game, these teams are so similar right now, right?
They are.
It's volume, heavy volume to the running back, and their quarterbacks just have to be able to move the ball, help them move the ball downfield,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's nice, cool. These running backs love it, especially for fantasy. And you saw last week the volume payoff for Fournette. McCaffrey is having it pay off the whole season. He's leading the league in rushing attempts. But
That's insane.
this is
86.
yeah, and 86 with 25 receptions.
Yeah.
But it's actually I have a sit of the week in here too. Because I think this is just going to be a run heavy game for both teams, and their defenses play pretty well. I'm sitting DJ Chark this week. He's my favorite receiver on the Jaguars by a lot,
Oh, yeah.
and I love Minshew. But I'm going to sit Chark for this week and then look ahead because the Jaguars actually have a lot of good matchups going forward. So if we see him, yeah, you sit him this week, or maybe you watch somebody else play him, right? And they're like, man, DJ Shark had another bad week because he didn't have a great week last week. Maybe you try and go trade for him because he's got a lot of good matchups going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Brennan's sit of the week is actually also in this game and is another wide receiver, but it's
Yeah,
for the other team. And that's
yeah,
DJ Moore. Now, before, it has nothing to do with the matchup. According to Brennan, it has nothing to do with the matchup and his
yeah.
little tidbit that he's got for me here. It's not because of the matchup, because Ramsey's likely not going to play again. Um,
Crazy.
and ever since Kyle Allen has been the quarterback due to Cam Newton's injury, which we still don't really have a timetable for when he's going to return, he's got a significant drop in targets. Uh, he had 2 in week 3 and 5 last week, compared to the 24 he saw through weeks 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He has the potential to take one deep every week. Like, if you want to play boomer, like, he's a boomer bust. But this week, Brennan's sit of the week is DJ Moore.
Yeah, and it just looks like Kyle Allen isn't throwing the ball down the field. I saw what he said too.
I just saw that he's calling this week. Brennan is calling him DJ less.
Yeah,
That's bad.
you look at Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore both.
Yeah,
But
both.
into perspective, they're both like every week they get under 50 yards receiving. The ball isn't going down the field. Uh, and they're just getting it to McCaffrey. Like we said, 86 rush attempts, 25 receptions. I believe he's going to be the RB1 by the end of the
Dude,
year.
he's gonna be the RB1, quarterback 1, wide receiver 1. You guys
Oh
laughed at
yeah.
me for saying that last year, and it's true.
You were a year
I was
you
a
were a
year
year
ahead,
earlier.
but
You
it
were
still counts.
premature.
It still counts.
Yeah, and
Anyways,
it's not going to be a passing game. It's going to be a running game, and we'll see which running back wins.
I think it's McCaffrey. I think he wins every week.
Yeah, but I really want Fournette to do
Oh,
well.
same. He's on my dynasty team. Of course, I want him to do well.
We're the
Which
Fournette
which we're
owners.
which we're playing this week. Me
We're
and
the
you are going at it in dynasty this week.
Oh no, and I'm a
Yeah,
Fournette owner in redraft.
and you're a Boyd owner in
Uh,
redraft, and I'm the Boyd owner in dynasty.
how did we do this?
That didn't line up well for you. All right,
No.
Vikings in New York to take on the Giants. Give the ball to Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
This defense is awful, minus what you saw last week.
No, that defense is awful.
The defense is still awful. Last week was a complete fluke when it comes to the Giants' defense. Um, you know, even when they weren't able to move the ball, the Vikings still gave it to Dalvin Cook last week. And
Yeah, I know.
he only had 40 rushing yards, and they kept giving him
They
the ball.
they kept giving up, and that that is so bad for the receivers, right? Like if you see that in their game script, going forward for their receivers is like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
And Kirk Cousins is just a fantasy nightmare. Like the guy can't throw the football. He just gets paid
What?
$84 million
I know.
to throw a football, and he can't do it.
And there's something to be said about they're not consistently throwing it, so he can never get like getting in a rhythm, which a lot of quarterbacks
Need.
need. And he can't. He can't get into a rhythm, and it's affecting like their pass game because then they're like, oh, we have to throw the ball, and everyone like he can't do it because he hasn't been doing it.
Yeah, and it's a shame because Diggs and Thielen are just talented. They're talented receivers. Yeah, Diggs hasn't gone off to a great start, but
Yeah,
and
he got the
really neither
garbage
is
time last
Thielen.
week.
Yeah, he
Oh,
finally went over.
Thielen's
But if they
Thielen's
had a
tough.
like the Vikings are so close. If they had a quarterback, I think they'd be Super Bowl contenders. If they had a
Yeah,
better quarterback,
what's crazy is like, what if they kept Case Keenum?
they'd probably be Super Bowl contenders.
Because that when they went to the playoffs with Case Keenum, it was like they were like, oh, we're just a quarterback away, and I'm like, really, the quarterback? And they go and send crazy money Kirk Cousins way,
Yeah, I
and
don't think Keenum's the answer, but Cousins was definitely is paying
it,
him $84 million guaranteed was not the answer.
exactly, it's
Um,
not better.
On to the
Doesn't look better.
Giants, and quick one with this one. So Daniel Jones is going to face his first real defense, I think. Tampa
Yeah,
Bay was, but we saw how they've played the last 2 weeks. Um, so it'll be a good test to see what Daniel Jones is like under pressure because the pass rush for the Vikings is actually pretty good.
yeah,
Uh,
and they can stop the run as well, so he's
yeah,
gonna have to throw it.
yeah. Golden Tate's back this week, but honestly, I'm not comfortable starting any Giant for the next 4 weeks. Probably they have one of the toughest schedules in
I
football. I
know.
think.
Yeah, this is kind of a lot of the eye tests. Like this is gonna be a. Last week they played the Redskins and they were ahead, and it was like it's kind of like all roses and happy. But this week is, and this going forward, like what does his offense do? Where's Golden Tate in the offense? How involved really is Wayne Gallman going to be in, especially losing situations, which we expect him to be in?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like how much does Tate take away from Evan Ingram? It's going to be one of those games that you're not happy about. Like Evan Ingram, you'd start. Sterling Shepard, probably not Golden Tate. I'd rather see him first, but if you have to, Golden Tate's a good start. You're still starting Wayne Gallman. Like this is where you see really what you've got.
Yeah, yeah. So looking at the schedule that they have, they've got
Oh God.
Minnesota, New England. They play Arizona, so there's a little bit of a break in there. And then they play Detroit, which is a pretty real
Good
team
team.
this year. And then they
Yeah.
play in Dallas. They go to New York. They play the Jets like they usually do. Battle of New York, so a little rough there. And then they hit their bye week, and then week 12 comes Chicago.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yikes! Like that is one of the toughest schedules, and they play Miami. But
Yay.
so Miami and Arizona, I just
Well, the good news about the Giants, this Saquon is coming back faster. It looks like he
yeah,
looks like he is getting closer to that 4 out of the 8 instead of the 8. Like it was 4 to 8 weeks. We're looking closer at that four mark instead of the 8, which we thought it was going to be 8.
probably less than that. I would expect him back maybe even next week.
It's
If he's
crazy,
running and
dude.
cutting already, like
It's crazy.
he could be ready for
I
that New
think they
England
still
game.
want to. They will want to be careful, but especially if they start winning a little bit. Maybe they win this week, right? Then what do you do
Mm-hmm.
versus losing?
Then they'll be 3-2.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. All right, next game, Falcons could go into Houston to take on the Texans. Matt Ryan really needs to get this offense going.
No, the offensive line does.
Well, I mean, against Indianapolis, it looked like they were clicking on all cylinders, and then they play at home last week against the Titans, and they
I
just look like they
know.
don't know how to play football.
Twice.
But they're in a little bit of a better matchup this week. The Texans secondary should allow Julio Jones to get open, and as long as Matt Ryan has some time to throw the football, he can get it to him. There's been
Yeah.
he's proven it after years of playing in the NFL. I think Matt Ryan's almost played 20 years in the NFL.
11. So almost 20, yeah. He's on the other side
I
of
thought he came
10.
in like two oh I got my math is hard. I got my numbers wrong. I was like, I thought he got drafted in 2008. That's only 11 years. So I'm right, but I wasn't even close to 20 years. Over 10 years playing in the NFL. Whatever. Over 10 years playing in the NFL, throwing the ball to Julio Jones for like what?
Yeah.
At least 8 of those years. I think it was 2011. Anyways, they should be able to have a good game. Freeman still hasn't been able to prove he's a must start, but if he's your only
I
option,
know, right?
he is the guy in Atlanta.
Drafted him so high, and look where we're at now.
Yeah, yeah. But I also think Deshaun Watson could have a big game because these teams are very similar as well, just like the Jaguars Panthers game. I think this could be one of those shootout games we see.
Oh, I
You know,
hope so.
both quarterbacks throw for like 350, 400 yards, and 3-4 touchdowns. You could
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, that would be. This is an interesting game. I think it'll be really fun to watch if you're a fan of offense
Mm-hmm.
and passing, because like Matt Ryan threw the ball 55 times last week,
But they were
and
down the
oh,
whole
50,
game.
53, 34, 43, 46, and they're what, 2-2 or
Mm-hmm.
1-3?
I think
They're
they're
two
one
and
and
two.
so they were 1-3.
When did they beat the Eagles?
No,
Oh, I might
they're
be
one
wrong
and
too.
three. No, they beat the Eagles. They're 2-2.
Okay, they are 2-2.
They beat the Eagles. That's right.
So but I mean, like you get winning and losing game scripts, and he's still throwing the ball plus 40 times.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to continue to throw it. Hopefully, their offensive line figures it out.
Yeah. Well, J.J. Watt is still really good at football.
Yeah, I actually am picking up the Texans defense. I don't remember what league, but for the fact that there will be sacks
Yeah, they'll get to like J.J. Watt will get to the quarterback on probably
on the
85
Falcons.
percent of the play, and the
Yeah,
Falcons' pass rush is non-existent. So the Texans
yeah,
might be able to
exactly.
keep
Texans might
Winston
win then.
upright.
If
Yeah,
that's, I mean,
I'm
if
taking the
that's the guy.
Texans to win the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it.
But I
Do
would
you,
love to see 350, 3-4 touchdowns from both quarterbacks.
did you do anything with Carlos Hyde this week?
Eh, if Deion Jones is playing, I don't really like Carlos Hyde.
Okay. I think I have to play him in one of my leagues.
I mean,
For
if you
sure.
have to play him, yeah, he's obviously
I
the
like,
guy.
yeah,
But
I like Carlos Hyde. Hopefully, it's just one of those like this team doesn't throw the ball to the running back and they don't run the ball to the running back on the goal line. But
it
I think
makes
he
no
gets some.
sense.
He can move the ball down the field a little bit, and
Yeah,
you might. He's run really efficiently as well.
yeah. That Duke Johnson trade they made in the offseason makes absolutely no sense, or in preseason makes absolutely no sense so far.
Yep. Well, that's
Um,
Bill O'Brien as a GM.
yep. All right, Bucks at Saints this week. What's the over under for this game? 47.5, and New Orleans is favored by 4.5 points. That's pretty fair.
Yeah.
I think it's the under, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think the Saints can score.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take the under.
I
But the
know the
Saints
Bucks
defense,
can.
yeah, but the Saints defense looked really good against the
Yeah,
Cowboys last week.
and they're at home again, which is nice. But I think what's crazy, right? We had this bad Winston taste in our mouth.
From week 1.
And now the last 2 weeks, he finished at 5, and last week he was the number 1.
Well, yeah, you score 55 points. I hope your quarterback's at number 1.
Yeah, but like we've got to start moving like our thought on Winston into a like, hey, this guy could really be in this offense, in this
Mm-hmm.
scheme under Bruce. He could easily be a top 10 quarterback the rest of the year.
For sure.
And I think this is a good streaming play because the Saints. I know they looked good last week, but
It's the
uh,
Saints at
I
home, though.
yeah, and I think Winston still is going to show up, and at least the Bucks are used to playing in the dome, right? This is a divisional game, so
Mm-hmm.
they're used to it, and I think the Bucks are going to prove that they are the best team in this division at this point in time. If Breeze comes back, maybe it's probably different.
I hope
At this
Brian's
point in
not
time,
watching.
at this moment right now, the Bucks are the best team in the NFC South, and I think they're going to go prove it. You're obviously playing Godwin and Evans. Ronald Jones has been,
I was gonna say, I think one of the things that's really
yeah, this is
worked
the
with
big one.
Winston, it's Ronald Jones.
Being able to
His
run.
being able to run the football in general. So Peyton Barber, Ronald Jones are probably equal amount of why Winston's so successful right now.
Yeah, and Ronald's getting more and more work. He's getting more and more
Yeah.
looks really good. Like, and unfortunately, OJ Howard is lost in all this.
Yeah, it's really
I put a
unfortunate with
sad
him.
face.
Yeah, I saw that. So Ronald Jones through four weeks, he's gone double digit points every week except for week 2. And a rumor came out that he might have been hurt. So there wasn't really sure why he didn't play as much. He actually did get hurt, and they held him out for the rest of that game.
Yeah,
So looking at the weeks he has played, he's gone double digit in every game, and he's
yeah,
gotten over 10 carries. The least amount is 13 carries, and the least amount of yards was 70. So
right.
his yards per carry is looking really good. If they could get him involved in the passing game like he was doing at USC, I think he could be a RB2 rest of season,
Yeah, I think he's trending towards RB2 at the
like a
like.
high RB2. If they can get him going in the passing game, high RB2.
Yeah, and there's another thing. If this offense can get to the goal line, which they should be able to, they obviously can move the ball. Like, you love having running backs in that situation, and he's run the ball on the goal line as well. I don't know if it's not exclusively him, but he does do it.
Yeah, the snap percentages for both Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones are very, very similar. Of course, minus week 2, where we saw a ton of Peyton Barber. Um,
Right.
but
But
out of efficiency wise, it's
yeah,
been Jones.
Ronald's looked way better.
Way better, in my opinion.
Hopefully, it's you're hoping, like, especially if you're trading for him now, which is now's a good time to trade for him. You're hoping Ronald Jones numbers keep going up, and
Yeah.
they've been trending up, and he's shown that he deserves them to be trending up, which
Yeah,
is awesome.
I asked Windsor earlier today what the price was for Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones. He didn't respond.
And
Uh,
he's probably not going to give him up.
oh, well, he's got a plethora of running backs.
That's true. It's just
He's got
horrible.
6 starting running backs on his team. It's insane.
Insane.
On to the Saints. Let's talk about the insanely consistent Michael Thomas for a second. That
I
guy is a football magnet.
I know, it's awesome.
Pulling up
I love Michael Thomas.
pulling up his numbers. Let me rack up his 26, 33, 42 targets in 4 weeks.
I know, and he's catching like probably about 40 of them.
He's caught
It's a guesstimate.
34 of them.
Oh, it's a little low.
He went 9 for 9 last week, but only the
Yeah,
one touchdown. But his yards per catch are over 10, so you're getting 2 points per catch basically every time Michael Thomas catches the ball. Currently wide receiver 6. Uh, he's got until week 7 he plays Chicago, but even against Chicago, I think he still has a good. Like, this guy could light the world on fire this year. And you
yeah,
guys, again, so in my early rankings, I had Michael Thomas as, I think I had him as number 2, wide receiver on the year. And if he had one more touchdown, I think he's there. Um,
yeah, he absolutely is.
but I think he's definitely going to finish as a top 5, if not number 2 wide receiver in the
The
league.
only
He
the
could be
only
number
week
1. He could be number 1.
I think the only week he wasn't a top 10 receiver was, oh yeah, he's 12 week 2, which for some that's wide receiver 1. But he's like
That's mostly wide
consistent.
receiver 1.
Yeah, and he's consistently just sat up at wide receiver 1.
That was also the first game pretty much with Teddy Bridgewater, because that's the game Breeze left with the
Yeah,
thumb injury. But the Saints
love
also have Alvin Kamara, which obviously you're starting. You're starting
another
both of
must
those
start.
guys. Those are
I think
the
that's it.
only. I think that's the only 2 guys you can start in the Saints offense right now.
And I'm not even thinking about anybody else. Like Jared Cook,
No,
meh.
I would. He's drop worthy for me.
Yeah, Latavius Murray, get him off my roster. Ed
He
Ginn,
hasn't
no.
had without Drew Brees. Ted Ginn is
Yeah, he's
not.
useless.
He's not really existent in this offense. I think Michael Thomas plays that tight end role, and he's the safety valve. That's because
Pretty
he's
much.
6'5", 6'3",
Yeah.
6'3", 212. That's a big target. You can't really miss him.
Mhm.
Okay, on to the next game.
Defensive game.
Very, very big defensive game, and I want to see it. Not because I love defense, but just because I want to see how many interceptions are thrown in this game.
Yeah. because Matt
both
Barkley's
quarterbacks.
playing.
Yeah, both
Who's
quarterbacks turn the ball over quite a bit. I mean, Matt Barkley is expected to start,
yeah, he's
and
gonna start.
there's no real startable offensive player in this game. Derrick Henry,
No, I'd still
you could start Derrick Henry,
I'd play Derrick Henry.
but
I'd
I
feel
mean,
comfortable playing Derrick Henry just because it's Derrick Henry.
and he,
I think,
if they get on the goal line, but the Bills
and
defense is so good.
I know, but the other thing is like the Bills aren't going to score, so there isn't going to be negative game script. I don't think for Derrick Henry. So he's still gonna like if it's a if it's a close game or if like the Titans are winning a little bit. I mean, they're going to run the ball to Derrick Henry, and I think you'll still see that. Cole Beasley and John Brown, you could play them. I wouldn't
I think
feel
they're
too bad
flex.
about it.
They're potential flex options if you have none other
I would
ones.
start looking for somebody else this week,
Hmm.
like somebody we're going to talk about next thing in our next game. But another thing to note, Mariota has over 100 passer rating score. How crazy is that on the season?
That's nuts. I didn't know that.
I think he's at like 107,
Wow, that's really
which
crazy.
they don't ask him to do a lot. So it's kind of like one of those like, okay, well, he's not asked to do a lot, so his numbers might be a little skewed because he's not throwing as much as these other guys, obviously. But he's been efficient enough, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It'll be an interesting one.
and this is one of those you need a defense if you have somebody who's playing if you have the Colts, right? And they're playing the Chiefs this week. You're not playing the Colts versus the Chiefs.
No.
Both of these defenses could be played, should be started this week.
Yeah, both of them should be in if they're available and your defense is a bit suspect. This is
Yeah,
either of these
this
defenses would be perfect to
either
plug
one
in there.
doesn't matter which one, just pick one.
All right, next game is the Cardinals against the Bengals, and we have another start of the week in this one. And it's Britain's start of the week, and Brady, you'll like this one just as much as I do. It's Tyler Boyd.
Yeah,
Tyler Boyd is Brennan's start of the week. After struggling last week against the Pittsburgh D, he had 3 catches on 6 targets for only 33 yards. Snooze. This is going to be a bounce back week. He goes up against Arizona, who can't stop anyone.
no,
And the injury to John Ross, you're definitely going to see those targets go from 10 to 11, probably up to 15 plus.
hopefully.
Hopefully, you're right. But they got guys like Tyler Eifert, they got Auden Tate. AJ Green's expected back some point, not this week, maybe next week, I think. But yeah, his start of the week is Tyler Boyd. And I agree. I've started him every week this year. Hopefully, he scores a touchdown this week. I would love one of those.
Yeah,
I got to take down Brady somehow. It's the battle at the top of the division.
that's true. I had struggled last week. Hopefully, I bounce back.
Yeah, I would love to see one of those games because my team's going to put up 140 like they usually do.
I hope mine puts at 150.
I'm supposed to beat you. Anyways, back to the game. These are two bad defenses.
Yeah, this looks like a fantasy football heaven for a game that's between teams who haven't won yet.
Yeah. 0-3-1 Cardinals take on the 0-4 Bengals. Both these teams have injuries though, which really hurt the fantasy legitimacy of this game, like that it really could have. The only obvious starts in this game are like for both teams are David Johnson.
Mhm.
I'm going to throw Larry Fitzgerald in there.
Yeah, I'm starting him.
He's looked amazing. Joe Mixon, obviously he's the starting running back. He's should get the ball,
Yeah, you
and
still.
probably Tyler Boyd. Um,
That's where you stop. Yeah, you gotta put Tyler Eifert in there.
I mean, yeah, because they're playing in Arizona, I'll give him Tyler Eifert. And I guess we'll go Auden Tate just because of the John Ross injury.
I am.
I don't think he's a must start, but
No, but
I
like
wouldn't
if
call Eifert a must start either.
to go back to the Bills Titans game, like would you take Auden Tate or John Brown or Cole Beasley?
Oh, Auden Tate.
Yeah, I think I'd take Tate as
Again,
well.
what I'm saying is they're not must starts. Like if Auden Tate's on your roster, I'm not saying you need to plug him in over,
Right, but he's definitely an option.
yeah. Like I wouldn't plug him in over Stephon Diggs.
Tate?
Yeah.
I would.
Okay.
Yep, I'd do it.
All right. All right.
Trade me Diggs. I'll do it.
I have Diggs in Funhouse. I don't have Diggs in redraft.
Yeah,
Wait,
I'll have to.
I have no idea. I can never remember who's on my team anymore.
I think the other thing, Dalton's a possible streamer this week,
He
which is
is. He is. He's not playing in prime time, and he's playing against Arizona. So at
yay.
home. At home.
Yes, sir.
Mark, do I have Diggs? You seem to know who's on everyone's team.
I don't have Diggs. Bless up. No, he says I. He's saying I don't have Diggs, and he's the bless up kind of thing.
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't want to have Diggs.
Doesn't want to have Diggs. All right. On to the next game where we
A
have
boring game.
a very this will be a boring game because it's gonna be a flipping blowout. We have Mark's start of the week in this one,
So much.
and that's Sony Michel.
I
You know,
actually like it.
the Patriots play an abysmal Redskins defense this week, who currently allow 4.7 yards per attempt on the ground, and
Didn't know that.
Sony gets the ball on the ground. It,
Yeah, hopefully.
he gets a solid amount of volume. He averages 15.5 touches a game. He's not very efficient, but
He
game
should
script
be.
should favor the run game in this one. This is the game for him to bounce back in. And I
Yeah,
totally agree with this. I think this is the game Sony looks like, what everyone thought he was going to look like.
I
I mean,
think
I was a little higher than him on everyone else, but Mark would start him with confidence.
I think the biggest thing, and when he put this in here, he probably will score. This is a really good opportunity, a game where he can and should, I think, score.
Mm-hmm.
So when a running back, especially one that he maybe hasn't been that efficient, this is a good week to play him for sure.
Question, Brady: if you have Sony Michel and James White, are you playing
Yeah,
both of them?
I can see a world where you do.
I would play both of them
Yeah, it's team construction, but yeah,
based off. They're very equal in snap percentages.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't feel bad about it.
Yeah, and they're playing the Redskins, so that always helps.
Yeah,
Any other?
yeah. I don't think that. Ben Watson, is he playing this week?
I believe he's back this week. I think he
Yes,
served his 4 game
yes.
suspension. So,
He's back this week, so
so
we
Tom Brady will have a tight end to throw to.
we're gonna keep our eye on what this
He would
passing
be
offense
interesting.
looks like with Watson, because they've done a ton of three wide receiver sets, but now they have Watson, and they weren't using a tight end prior to this week. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna see how he affects what their offense does.
Yeah,
You never really know with the Patriots.
yeah. Bottom line is start your Patriots. You're starting Gordon. You're starting Doucette.
All three receivers,
You're
yeah.
starting Edelman. You're starting James White. You're starting Sony Michel. I would even start. You could start multiple ones if you have both. Like if you have a couple of them.
Tom Brady,
Tom Brady
good start.
obviously is a start against this one. Let's go to the Redskins.
Speaking of starting people,
Yeah, this is the one that I wanted to ask you about. Was that? I mean, I know I'm playing you this weekend, so you're not going to give me the best advice, I'm sure.
no, I will.
Um, Terry McLaurin looks like he's going to be back, and he has that repertoire with Haskins going back to college last year. They hooked up for quite a bit of touchdowns, but they're going up against the best team in the league.
Yeah,
Is it
I
really even worth playing
I
him?
don't I don't think anybody is startable. I, the only person on the Redskins who I would be at least a little okay with starting is McLaurin. But other than that, I start zero people on this roster. That at all.
Is there anyone
That's
even roster like in a redraft? Is there anyone even rosterable besides McLaurin
Peterson
at this
still
point?
is. Peterson still is because he's just you know and Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson's there too.
Yeah.
Chris
Okay.
Thompson's probably the more rosterable than
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson for sure.
Yeah. But Mark is saying he'd start Chris Thompson, which I I can see that.
He's projected about 11 points. I think I have him in redraft.
Yeah, you just gotta hope he gets the receptions because
Yeah,
the
11.82 points.
I think the Patriots are gonna bottle him up, kind of key off of him a little bit because they're a relatively smart defense. They know what the Redskins have, and that's Chris Thompson out of the backfield and Terry McLaurin.
It would be
And
smart. It would be smart for Washington to have Haskins throw to Chris Thompson to
Chris
really get
Thompson,
him
yeah,
into some sort of rhythm. Three
yeah,
step drop. Turn, throw to Thompson in the flat, whatever.
okay.
Screen
I think
passes.
I think I've turned a little bit. I think Thompson's an okay start,
Yeah,
a
I would
flex.
I would agree, I would agree with Mark.
I'd
Thompson's
actually
a flexible player.
I put Thompson above McLaurin this week in turn. Like these are both flex options. We'll say they're flex options, right?
Hmm.
I would rather start Thompson than McLaurin.
Who would you rather start, Thompson or Beasley?
Oh, Thompson. That was hard.
All right, I'm banking on you. I'm playing Mark in redraft, and I just switched him up. It's on you, Brady. That one's on you.
I'd start Robbie Mark. That's my start of the week. So
Give him equal. All right, next game: Ravens.
Ravens, Steelers.
Ravens Steelers. So Mason Rudolph, and I want to, like, he's not throwing the ball down the field. He was 16 for 16 when targeting his running backs last week.
And split them perfectly down the middle.
Yep, 8 to
Eight.
Samuels, 8 to Connor.
Yep. How crazy is that?
He threw the ball more than 10 yards, I think, twice, like in the air, twice.
Yeah, he had a nice little play for it was like 3rd and 15. He converted on to Nick Vanette. A
Yeah,
little
and
bit of a rollout.
the big play was to Deontay Johnson
Yeah,
on the. I think they scored off that play in 3 weeks so far. I think is what I heard. So run that play. Apparently it works.
2 weeks, but yeah.
2 weeks. Okay. Well, still back-to-back weeks.
I don't know if yeah, no, they didn't do it the week he came in, but yeah, the 2 weeks he started, they've scored on that play.
Yeah.
So Deontay's a absolutely rosterable player.
Rosterable player for sure.
Juju is so like you've kind of said that the Ravens have a good defense, and I actually don't know how good the Ravens defense is, and I think there's some injuries that have happened, and they lost some people last year, so they're a little bit suspect. I mean, we watched the Browns absolutely destroy them, so
On the ground.
yeah, it will. Is that good for Connor? Maybe Connor has a good week. I just traded for Jalen Samuels. I think his involvement, obviously, I don't think it goes away.
I don't think it does either. I think both of them could have,
Yeah,
like they
both
had
of them.
last week, 20-point games.
Yeah, I think 15. We'll bring the number down a
We'll
little
go
bit.
15, more realistic, I guess. 20 is out of this world. Kind of good games for Jalen Samuels, but that's what he
Yeah,
did
but
last week.
if he's catching the ball that much, right? If that continues, his production in the passing game, he's definitely rosterable for me.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, come on, we can agree that the Ravens defense is better than Cincinnati's defense.
Yes, way better.
Yeah, so it's gonna
But
be
is it?
a bit of a test.
Yeah, it's another test. Hopefully Juju gets going, man.
Yeah, I really
That's
don't
been
think
tough to watch.
going off like with the Steelers defense, I don't think it was how good the Steelers defense was. It was how bad the Bengals offense looked. And the Bengals offense has actually been really good, except for last week. Like it's looked pretty good. It's looked a lot like the Rams offense last year, coming from
Yeah,
Zach Taylor, who was on the who was the quarterback coach there, which is crazy
right.
to think he was the quarterback coach and then just jumped to head coach. But
That happens.
it does. But I think the fact that the Bengals played like crap definitely helped the Steelers look. Um,
Right.
but Jackson's going to get he's going to get his points. Obviously, he's been able to throw the ball really well all year. Um, Ingram, the Steelers' run defense is actually really bad.
Yeah.
Again, minus last week.
Yeah.
Not looking at last week, I think Ingram could have another big game.
Yay.
I hope
One of the
not.
most one of the most efficient runners in
I think he
the
gets a
NFL right now.
touchdown. I think Jackson
Yeah.
has 3 total touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 on the ground, in my opinion. Um,
A
but
lot.
it is a lot. But we'll see if the Steelers pass rush can get to him.
Yeah,
He's quick.
yeah, he is. And but the Steelers have a good pass rush. So I'm actually interested to see like how that affects Lamar Jackson this week.
Yeah.
And cuz he's missed throwing. Like he's not crazy accurate. He's more accurate than last year, but hopefully we'll see some of the like Hollywood get going this game too cuz the Ravens should be able to move the ball against the Steelers.
Yeah. And that's why I think Jackson will have a good day on the ground because the pass rush is going to force him to move outside the pocket, and at
Right.
some point he's going to see an open field to just run, unless
Yeah.
they spy him and you can catch him because he's fast, he's lightning quick.
See a lot of option runs too.
Yeah,
Little
lots of running the football in this game.
I hope so for the Ravens.
For both teams, really.
Yeah.
All right, next game. This game's in London, and this game is also coming on at 1, right? Or is this an
I don't.
early game?
It should be early, but it might be at 1.
Because sometimes they do them at night over there.
It's not night.
Well, over there.
Oh yeah. I'll check here in a second. I actually love Allen Robinson this week, by the way.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about the Bears since it's at
It
noon.
is my team.
It is your
Well, yeah,
team.
I think Robinson's startable, flexible, a flexible start this week. I saw that he's sitting at over 20% of the target share. This is a good matchup against the Raiders. And when Chase Daniels came in, it is at noon? Okay. When Chase Daniels came in, he threw the ball like initially, like when they weren't winning, he was throwing to Robinson all the time.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see probably eight targets to Robinson this week, and you can see like 80 yards. Hopefully, yeah, kind of hoping he finds the end zone because he hasn't yet this year. The other thing that's cool to see is how Montgomery has really exponentially increased, like how many times he's running the ball, how many
Hmm.
times he's on the field. So hopefully that trend continues to go up. Again, this is a good Raiders defense. Not good.
Yeah.
This is another good matchup for them. If they get ahead, obviously the Bears have no problem with running the football, as you saw in the Minnesota game.
Yeah. Yeah. My sit of the week is actually in this game. And just before I get into that, the only startable Raider is probably Darren Waller,
Yeah.
I think. Because my sit of the week is Josh Jacobs. He's currently running back number 21. Um, ever since he's been kind of slow since his, week 1 two touchdown performance against Denver, but he's going up against Chicago, who held Dalvin Cook to 40 yards, and he also leads the league in rushing. Dalvin Cook does. Yeah, Dalvin Cook had a touchdown, but it was late in the game. It didn't even matter.
Yep.
But it's simple. Josh Jacobs should not have a good game in this one. I they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be behind, um, just due to the fact of their defense. So I mean, they might be able to get him going in the passing game, but he's only got 5 targets all year, and he's only had 3 receptions. I wouldn't expect him to put up decent fantasy numbers. Um, Sit Josh Jacobs, in my opinion.
Yeah. You playing Tyrell?
No, I'm not playing Tyrell. He might actually be hurt. He might not even play.
I know. I saw that too.
But let's jump into the next game. We got Broncos in. I almost said San Diego again. Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. The real question for the Broncos is: can Joe Flacco play well enough to get the ball to Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton?
Probably not.
I would agree. And the running backs, neither of them have been. It's not clear who the real starter is. It's a
There's no
complete
real
coin
starter.
flip.
It's 50-50, and who gets the ball where, it doesn't matter. They both do everything, right? They both run the ball on the goal line. They both catch the ball in the backfield. They they'll get the ball in space, and they're running well. So that's not going to change. Like, it's one of those things. If this wasn't working, it would change. You'd be like, okay, something will change. But they're doing really well. This is the best part of their offense, honestly, is their running backs. So that's not going to change. Hopefully, there's rumors that Sanders might get traded. Um, there's probably a lot of rumors about the Broncos getting traded just because of their horrible start. We'll see, but I don't think Joe Flacco can keep up with help Sanders or Sutton. But and this is a tough game too. The Chargers pass defense is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Chris Harris is on the other side of that on the Broncos defense. He's pretty much their only, you know,
Right,
other
bright
than
spot
Von
at this
Miller.
point.
But it's good. It's a good test for Keenan Allen. He had a very down week after his huge performance 2 weeks ago. But the
Yeah,
real story is Melvin Gordon should be back for this one. He was
yeah,
active last week, but he did not take a single snap. I still think they're going to ease him back in. So 70% of snaps probably.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see how much he's worked out over while he
Well,
was holding out, and
yeah.
how they
Well,
feel.
it'll be good to see
Yeah,
what he does in this
who
offense.
it's whose touches does he take? It's kind of
It's
the
going to be
thing.
Justin
Obviously,
Jackson's target
well, yeah,
touches. It's the obvious answer because Austin Eckler
yeah,
has
and
been phenomenal.
right. But how much did? Well, he's still going to eat into Eckler. How much does he eat in there? How much does he eat into Keenan Allen? And then the other thing is, like, is there going to be another receiver in L.A.? because I think there should be. This is Philip Rivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good quarterback. Hopefully, like Mike Williams and Inman have both been hurt, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they get healthy and
Inman's
somebody.
Inman's already been ruled out for this week. I have
Yeah,
Mike Williams is still questionable. Um, other than that,
and Hunter Henry's out too
Hunter Henry,
still.
but he was back running, which was really good to see.
Yeah,
He was seen running, not at practice. I
he
think he was
was
working out.
seen.
He was seen running in
We
a
saw
good
him
way.
running.
We saw him running. Well, the guy broke his leg like
I know.
a
We
month
saw him
ago,
running.
and he's
Make,
running. That's pretty
making
good.
spot on the field in shorts and a t-shirt, working on his own. Oh, he's
That's
like
okay. That's still good. Like it's not like oh they're hitting him in his legs. He's taking he's
a.
taking knee shots to like with helmets, but
Yeah.
it's good to see. It's good to see. All right,
Yeah.
Packers
Hopefully.
Cowboys is gonna be a good game too. That's the next one we're talking about. But Devontae Adams is likely out for this
Oh,
game,
there we are.
so Rodgers is gonna have to rely on Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Jerome Allison, and I hate to say it, but Jimmy Graham to produce in the offense. Um, Mostly because I don't think Aaron Jones is going to have a bounce back game in this one. I think
Mm-mm.
I think the Dallas defense with the way
Their linebackers are too
Leighton
fast,
Vander
man.
Esch and Jalen Smith are both flying to the football on
Yeah,
every play. Like they don't come off the field. It's like Chris Godwin and Bruce Arians' offense.
they never come off the field.
It's gonna be hard for Aaron Jones. I think he might get a touchdown somehow if they get to the goal line somehow. It's gonna look a lot like last week. I think for Aaron Jones. Um,
Yeah, he's gonna rely on a goal line touchdown. Uh,
yeah,
It's important to note, like in the last game when Adams went out, they went to Graham in the during the goal line, and I think MVS and Allison both are startable this week.
I agree. I agree. Zeke came out and said that he was not very happy. A lot of the team wasn't very happy with their performance against New Orleans. You could say the same thing about their fans; they were not happy with their performance. So I think Zeke is going to come out here, and Zeke will feast on the Packers' run defense that gave up so many points to Jordan
Yeah,
Howard.
Zeke could be RB1 this week.
Oh yeah,
I think it's a good shot.
starting guys. I'm starting Zeke. I'm starting Dak. I'm starting Cooper.
Cooper, yeah, that's it.
You could probably stream Witten if you're hunting for a goal line touchdown. Um,
Yeah, you're really fishing
But
there.
on to the big shootout of the week. And my star of the week is in this one. Well, yeah, okay. I was making sure we didn't miss any of the star of the weeks.
I
Uh,
keep checking.
yeah, I was like, wait, did I miss one? I keep doing it, but I think there's only two
Baker's
left.
again.
Mark has the last one. But my star of the week is in this game, and he plays, and it's not Patrick Mahomes. Screw your brain.
Okay.
It's not Patrick Mahomes. It's the other quarterback. It's Jacoby Brissett. This guy leads the league in touchdown passes. He's tied for it with Patrick Mahomes and one other player.
No, it's not Matt Ryan.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
Wait, is it Matt Ryan? They both didn't throw a touchdown last week.
The number's 10. He has 10 touchdown passes.
Yeah, you keep going. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but what really sucks. Okay, so going back to Jacoby, let's start with Jacoby Brissett. You know, Stafford looked like a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback again last week against the Chiefs. And this defense, the Chiefs' defense is just awful. Like it's so bad. Like they get torched every week by whoever's throwing the football. Ty is expected back, but it's still questionable. We'll see how that plays out. I'm looking for another shootout
Do.
for sure. Also, Brissett doesn't throw interceptions. He's thrown one all year, and it was last week against Oakland. It actually
cost him the game.
cost him the game, unfortunately. But he's trying to make a play. I don't blame him. But again, takes care of the football, which is huge when it comes to fantasy because you're not losing points. And I think the Colts running game should get going as well, whether it be Marlon Mack or Naeem Hines, who I think is going to have a very extended role in this game, even if Marlon Mack is good to go. But there's lots of holes in this pass defense, and I think Brissett's going to find them, particularly in the end zone this week. So, start of the week, Jacoby Brissett. He's also quarterback number 9 on the year. Very underrated.
Yeah,
very underrated.
Only quarterback with multiple touchdowns in every game.
Yep. But like we said, the Colts are banged up, so
yeah, I think
it'd be
both
interesting
these
who they use.
Both these tight ends have opportunities to be flex options as well, like outside of their own position. But Ebron and Doyle.
Yeah, I agree, but it really depends on Ty.
Depends on him. Yeah.
We talked about the Chiefs a little bit. We talked about Tyreek being back in practice and Dame Williams being full to go to practice. Jesus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek is not going to play this week. don't. I don't. He's not
You
going to
don't
play
think
this
so?
week. No, I don't think he plays this week.
Okay.
So Robinson and Hardman are still uh,
Still startable.
still startable wide receivers. Watkins is obviously a starter. Kelsey, Mahomes against a much, I would say, an easier defense than the
Yeah.
Detroit Lions.
And
Um,
whichever running back is playing
yeah,
is also a great start.
yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
Kansas City, man.
Their offense is fun to watch. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It sucks that their defense is awful, but man, is their offense something else.
Jones, please sack the quarterback Jones. That's their only defense.
Yeah, Chris Jones. And well,
He
they have the Honey Badger Tyron Matthew, but even I mean he can't really.
doesn't do anything.
Well, he got a
He's
sack
not
last week.
he's not that good. He
All
really
right,
isn't.
all right, all right. On to the Monday night game, and here is Mark's sit of the
Sit of the
week.
week.
Back to back sits of the week. This guy's been on the show 2 weeks in a row,
Is
both
that
as sit of
right?
the weeks, because he was my sit of the week last week, and I'm currently wearing his jersey again. Mark's sit of the week is Baker Mayfield. The Browns travel to the Bay Area to face off against the undefeated, put that in
How crazy is that?
quotations, undefeated San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off the bye. 49ers secondary is going to be fresh, and they had an extra week to scheme against Baker, who has yet to throw more than one touchdown in a game. I don't think that's 100% true, is it?
He's had at
Oh
least
my
one
God, it
interception every
is.
game.
Wow.
Wow.
It is
Yikes.
true. And he's thrown at least one interception in every game. He threw three week one. I don't entirely put all those on him, but he has thrown six interceptions to four touchdowns again. Um, the Browns' offensive success last week came from a beastly performance from Nick Chubb on the ground with a mediocre performance through the air. All this leaves me with no confidence in Baker Mayfield this week. I totally understand this one.
Yeah,
Um,
the 49ers have a good pass defense too. Like
well,
their secondary is
their
pretty good.
secondary is good, yeah, and their pass rush should be better than it is with the guys that they have, like DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa, um,
Bosa.
Armstead, those guys coming off the edge. Quan Alexander running the defense from that linebacker standpoint. But I really think that the Browns are going to build off that game they had last week. I think Nick Chubb is going to get 20 to 25 touches. Um,
Feels good.
a source said Jarvis Landry said he was 100% ready to go. We'll see.
That's good.
That's also very, yeah, because he was coming off potential concussion. So and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he looked good. And OBJ is looking to prove that he's still one of the best wide receivers in the game, but he's got to go up against Richard Sherman. So that's going to be difficult because he's
Yeah,
still
but
looking like one of the best corners in the game, which is
OBJ plays better, I think, with better competition. I feel like he's gonna come with some fire this week.
yeah. OBJ is looking for a bounce back game. For the Niners, like we said earlier, they're coming off a bye, going up against a tough Browns front seven. I would expect them to throw the ball a little bit more in this one, just because of the Browns' beat up secondary.
Yeah.
But Kyle Shanahan's known for his running back usage.
Well,
And
he
I
gets
want,
them in space too.
yeah, and I want to talk. So rumors had that Coleman could play in this one, um, but I think you could, like, if he does play, I think you could start Coleman or Breida in this one.
No Mostert.
If Coleman doesn't play, you could start Mostert.
Yeah. Well, okay. Breida. I think Breida's their best running back.
I
I
agree.
I think he's better than Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
Like at this point, he's better than Coleman. So Coleman, I've heard he might switch into the Jeff Wilson role and do goal line stuff if he's back. And I think if they're both playing, I think you can play both of them,
Mm-hmm.
Mostert and Breida. Just
If
because
Coleman's back, you could play Mostert.
it's no, I wouldn't because I'd rather see what the offense looks like
Because if
and
Coleman's
not
out, Jeff Wilson's still going to be that red zone goal line back.
right.
Wilson Jr. Sorry.
Yes, but Mostert will still get a lot of the work because him and Breida basically split time in the middle of the field. I don't know. it's so hard because like we don't know what the running backs want, like what they're scheming for without seeing it. So I'd
Yeah,
rather be late on some of these, like be late on picking which one's which instead of like picking wrong and getting 2 points. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. To note, Tevin Coleman did not practice on Monday. I haven't
Yes, I
seen
saw that.
I haven't seen a note if he practiced today, but it'll be. I think it'll be a game time decision. My
Mm,
gut instinct is no, he won't play. But other than
especially
George Kittle, are there any other fancy
no,
starters on the in the pass catching end?
no. I mean Godwin. If I had to pick one, Godwin. But
See, if I had to pick
I
one, it'd be Samuel. It'd
really,
be Debo
yeah, I'd
Samuel.
still go with Godwin. Just because I'd hope for a down the field touchdown because I feel like that's you're really hoping for one of them to score,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's
It's a very big. It's a boomer bust situation
all of them.
for Goodwin, Pettis, or Samuel. Kittle, you expect to get he's going to get the targets, so that's why I left Kittle out of that discussion. Other than
Yeah, yeah.
Kittle,
You're still starting Kittle,
mm-hmm.
and it's just so this offense is so muddy, and they're coming off a bye week too, so you don't know who's going where. We've got people maybe coming back. Apparently Pettis has been hurt, and he's coming back like from injury as well. I just want to see more of the offense and hopefully see like really what they want going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Question for you, Brady: who would you rather start, George Kittle or Austin Hooper?
Who do the Falcons play again?
Houston.
Kittle.
I would go as well, but in Funhouse, I'm playing both of them.
Oh, you're playing both of them.
I have Kittle and Austin Hooper on my team.
Nice.
That's in Funhouse, where I'm 4-0 and going up against Tommy. So
I'm 2-2. Who's Kay Walden? Is that your aunt?
that's my aunt. She mistakenly dropped Damon Williams. Well, we won't talk about that.
He has
Anyway,
Frank Gore and Alexander Madison in her starting lineup at the moment.
whoa, what? Okay, might need to make a phone call. Um, anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for Wednesday's show. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, you can find us on Twitter at MadmenFF. You find us all the shows on YouTube, FFMadmen. Like our Facebook page, and you can now listen to us on Spotify in case you guys missed a show. Um,
My mom listened this past week.
oh, nice, nice. My mom's
Mm-hmm.
out of town, so she didn't catch the show today. Um, but again, like I said at the beginning of the show, we are planning on doing a giveaway here really soon. So pay attention to our Twitter and Facebook page for information on that. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out,
Wah,
guys.
wah, wah, wah.